Hi, it's Curt Maccarone, and welcome to another edition of FLSA Vlog. We're here in Georgetown, Texas, getting ready for our FLSA conference that'll be the next couple of days, December 10th to the 12th. And I've got one of my co-instructors here, Bill Maccarone, and Billy, want to just kind of talk about some of the updates that have happened either in the FLSA or in the regulations that we're going to be covering. I know in a couple of areas that you cover, we've got some changes coming. So what are the changes we're going to be covering?
The biggest change is probably going to be the change that's taking effect on January 1st, where the DOL has announced a upgrade or an increase in the salary level necessary for a executive employee or executive administrative and professional employees. The minimum salary that they basically have to make in order to qualify for that exemption.
Okay, so that exemption is really the one that it impacts firefighters primarily in terms of officers. So what we're talking about is an officer exempt from the overtime requirements of the FLSA.
Exactly.
And so those change. So how has it changed?
Well, currently the salary level is $455 a week, which is relatively low, and effective in January it's going to go to I believe it's $684 a week. So it's a significant increase, and obviously some departments need to make sure that they're prepared for that coming January 1st.
Okay. Any other changes that we've got?
There's some things we're keeping an eye on that it looks like are coming down the road. There are some proposals in front of the DOL is considering some proposals right now regarding changes to the regular rate. What is included, what is not included or excluded from the regular rate. Mm-hmm. They're looking at some of the leave portions currently. For the most part, if you get cash back from unused sick leave, most jurisdictions and the DOL have said consistently that needs to go in your regular rate, and there's some regulations that possibly are coming down the road in the coming months that are going to exclude that, specifically exclude that. Same thing with holiday pay. Some of the holiday in lieu pay that needs to be included in the regular rate. The DOL looks to be to try to cancel that out or try to get that excluded from the regular rate. Mm-hmm. And there's also on the horizon possibly changes to the fluctuating work week. Okay. So there's some big changes coming.
Yeah, and a regular rate, just for those who aren't familiar with it, regular rate is the rate that it's more than just your normal hourly rate. It's the rate at which is multiplied by 1.5 in order to determine the overtime rate. So there's a lot of things that go beyond just your normal hourly rate that have to go into regular rate in order for it to meet the requirements of the FLSA. So hopefully the DOL is going to be providing a little bit more clarity. It's one of the big litigation areas. We see a lot of litigation over regular rate questions. So hopefully the DOL will provide a little more guidance. And fluctuating work week is a big problem. I don't know if you can explain it simply. It's a complicated issue, but
yeah, the fluctuating work week, it's not an exception to overtime. It's just another way to pay overtime. And basically, the more you work, the less you earn per hour. It's kind of it's a unique component of the regulations that allow you to reset the regular rate or recalculate the regular rate after every work week. The best way to sum it up is it's highly unique and it's highly technical. And
yeah, well, it's a salary. It's a salary, right? I mean, when you think about it, somebody's getting let's say you get $1,000 a week, but the way that the fluctuating work week works is that $1,000 a week is all you're getting. Whether you work 40 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours, 70 hours, you're getting $1,000 a week. And the courts have interpreted that right up from the Supreme Court, going back to Missile. Was it Missile?
Yeah, Missile was
Missile case. It allows it, but you still have to provide some sort of a component once you go over, for firefighters, 53 hours in a work week, or 212 hours in a 28-day work period. So what the Department of Labor is looking at is whether or not that's going to be they're going to try to possibly make it a little easier for employers to use that. So
absolutely.
Again, a lot of new stuff. The FLSA does not stay static, and neither does our program. So we're staying on top of these issues, and hope to see you possibly at one of our future classes. We've got one coming up in February in Stuart, Florida. We've got another one scheduled for May in Kansas City, and we've got a brand new one just announcing now, which is going to be in Seattle in September. And we're not opening registrations for that one just yet, but in September 2020 we'll be in Seattle, Washington. Okay, and that'll do it for another edition of FLSA Vlog.